Welcome to another episode of K-Fugs Community Square. My name's Heather Polen, and today we are here with Sam and Ron Cole from Gateway Education. And if you would like to participate in any of the programs that we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you the number up front so that you have that and you can come back and reference it. It's 707-954-7666. Again, that's 707-954-7666.
If they want to go to the website, it's www.gatewaytothewrc.com.
Okay, do that again.
Gatewaytothewrc.com. That is the Wild Rivers Coast.
There you go. All right. So what would you like to talk about today, Ron?
I just wanted to share some of the fun that we're having. There's so many programs that have grown within Gateway. Our flagship program was the survival summer camps, and those have been running since 2001 and have been nonstop. But then we started adding on some other programs. We found that we would do adventure trips. Sometimes we would go up to the snow and just have a blast in the snow, or we developed disc golf programs. We started doing, we even started a club, the Wild Rivers Disc Golf Club, back in 2003, because I was building courses at Joe Hamilton, courses at Beachfront Park, and now that has expanded to courses out of town too, even Azalea Park. And then we also have business programs. Wild Harvest Adventure it's a program. We've been doing this for about 7 years. The first 2 years we're kind of beta testing. What would happen if we gave the kids $1,200 to start a business for 10 weeks where they would run it with no adult input?
Okay, like what kind of business?
There are multiple different things that the kids have tried out. The main thing that seems to be selling the program is that we have invested in an apple cider press. And so a lot of the I think all of
motorized.
The kids, yeah, a motorized apple cider press. It's very nice.
I'm going to have you scoot up, Ron, so that we can hear you better. Scoot up to the mic. Don't be shy. Okay, so whose idea was it to buy the apple cider press, Sam?
Ron, was that your idea?
Partially, but you guys kept going because you had choices, because it's any wild harvest food of their choice, right? It could have been tuna, which they've done tuna. They did fungus, mushroom, sorry.
There was also driftwood. So it's really any wild harvest. They made like driftwood.
Anything that comes out of the earth, right?
Okay.
But apples have been the most accessible. Everybody wants their yards cleaned up. They want their tree. They don't want to have to deal with those messy apples or the bears coming into their yard and breaking branches again. So the kids offer to clear their apples from their trees, and they take that free product, essentially, is what they're learning, and they're turning it into apple cider, which they figure out the price point. How much do they pay for the gallon itself, or the half gallon, or the 16-ounce bottle? How much does it cost to get everything to the market? What are all the costs and expenses involved in running a business? And then figuring out how much do we charge? What is our mission? I don't know. What was your mission last year?
I think we kind of piggybacked on the mission of the year we had before that, because it was all the same people mostly. And we wanted to bring good quality food to the people in that community in Brookings. And we also wanted to make a lot of money.
I think that was the fifth part of your mission. That was like number 5 on the list.
I don't
it was
remember
like
the
profit. We want to make a profit.
Right. That's usually the first mission of any business, is to make a profit.
Yeah.
Sam, now to be clear, now you're one of the youth involved in like as a participant, or are you a counselor?
I'm involved as a participant. I've been doing most of the books for that in recent years, because our former bookkeeper retired for that part of the program. I've just been making sure the books look clean. I've been helping organize a lot of it, because what we try to do is make sure the kids are the leaders of the program, and they're really pushing it forward, actually getting the experience of running the business.
I mean, you say kids, what age group are we talking about here? Because that kids to me is like 25.
Yeah. What was the age group? 11 to 25?
11 to
26.
26? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm old, so those are kids.
Yeah.
It was kind of needed because, at least when I went to school, the only thing I was taught about work or a business is how to get a job. My dad was a merchant, right? And he had his own businesses. He came out of the Navy, had an auto parts route. Then he opened up 3 auto parts stores, bought some rentals. And I was like, how come I'm not learning this in school?
How come you didn't learn it at home?
I did.
Oh, okay.
that's probably why I went from college into starting my own nonprofit. That's a whole nother story, but
Sam, how long have you been involved with Gateway Education?
I think it's coming on 10 years now, so probably 9 currently. I started going to the survival camp when I was 9 or 10. I can't remember. And I'm 19 now.
I think you were the only one who didn't lie about your age.
I'm pretty sure I got into the older kids group a little bit early because I did lie about my age, but
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, nobody has to know that part. Yeah, and it's just been a wonderful experience for me. Like I kept coming back for 10 years now. It's been an amazing influence on my life.
We can't get rid of her.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. She can keep the books. Sam, so you started like that little segment there with you were given credit for being honest, and then you were honest and said, no, I lied in the beginning. Is that like one of the skills you learned at survival camp was integrity and ethics, and it's okay to tell the truth? And
Yes. The only rule at survival camp is to create a safe environment for everyone involved. Like, don't create an unsafe environment, whether that's emotionally, physically,
Socially.
Yeah, any of
Okay.
that. Just make sure the environment is safe. And for me, that taught me a lot of integrity. I don't need to lie to these people because they just want to make sure that everyone's having a good time, that everyone's safe, and protected. So there was no need for me to lie to anyone, and I don't feel the need to lie to people.
Or be anything other than she is. We really try to create an atmosphere of non-judgment. You are who you are.
So, Sam, what would you say through this whole process with the going on 10 years of involvement, whether as a youth going through the camps and participating in the business opportunities, was your greatest lesson?
It taught me to be confident in myself and my abilities. A lot of what happens at camp is giving the kids I'm trying to think of the word,
Give me an activity or something
like
that's
the
involving.
ability to do your own thing, what you want to do, be confident in your skills.
Not being afraid to fail. It doesn't.
Yeah. But because they created such a judgment-free environment, that allowed me to really excel at what I wanted to do without fearing that anyone would hate me for it or bully me for it or anything like that. It's just a very freeing environment, and they teach you a lot of skills that allow you to be aware of your surroundings, and who you are as a person.
It kind of sounds to me like you're saying that these programs and things gave you permission to be authentic.
Yes, authentic.
So I'm hearing you correctly.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so this gave you the power to be authentic, and then you just kind of ran with that. Do you get to carry that beyond the camps? Do you carry that into your daily life now?
Absolutely. I have done a lot of art in the community. I've done a logo for the game store, the Kobold's Lair.
That's your logo?
Yeah.
That's super cool.
And I've done a couple other logos for people who work at the Brookings Harbor Farmers Market.
St. George Lighthouse.
Yeah, I did art for St. George Lighthouse.
You said you were 19.
Yep.
And the Kobold's Lair logo has been that way for how old were you when you started doing the logo?
16 probably.
Wow.
Yeah, I do a lot of commission work online, but it allowed me to really be confident in my art, and I haven't really seeked out many other work opportunities because I know that that's what I want to do. Like most people aren't super supportive of artists.
No, they're
because you don't necessarily make a lot of money off of it.
It's the reason why they call it the starving artist, right?
Yes. But Gateway told me to be who I want to be, and that's what I want to be. I want to do art. So that's what I have sought after.
So you even at 19, 10 years, going on to 10 years, you feel still, let me rephrase that. Do you still feel supported and given permission to be authentically you and to show up in the whole world that way?
Absolutely.
So you're just sticking to your passion and you'll know that you'll find a way to get there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Gateway was truly a beautiful experience for me and still is. Every single year one of our campers actually said this. I thought it was really amazing. Ron was telling me about it in the car. He said that when he goes to camp, it like resets his mind. Like it just allows him to like refresh.
Nice.
And I completely agree with that. I think that was a wonderful way to put it.
So kind of like a retreat that everybody wants to do, a vacation, a mental vacation of reconnect to who you are, what it is that you want in life. Is that kind of how you feel about it?
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Was that your intention, Ron, when you started out with this 26 years ago?
That's
25 years ago?
Really good question. No. I wanted to do something that that would feed my soul. And maybe a loose example might be like Burning Man. I had preconceived ideas of what Burning Man is.
I think we all do.
Right. And a dear friend of mine took me to Burning Man and was like, okay, here we go. All right, I know what it's going to be. This is great. All right. And it was nothing like that. And I was like, I am looking at art at night in the middle of the desert that is making me cry. It was so beautiful. You are in a space that is a completely different culture than the culture I live in here in the United States. I felt like I had left the planet Earth. And this was no drugs involved. I mean, when you see these art cars that look like a caterpillar, literally a caterpillar moving through the desert, when you see ships that are moving through the desert majestically, or a lantern, like a candelabra that is bigger than your home, and it is glowing the most luscious form of red, and it's throbbing like the heart of a god.
How long ago did you go?
Oh, this was like 10 years ago. And they fund artists to do art pieces.
Who's the they?
The Burning Man Collective, this organizing group, and they will fund artists who have done pieces on their own, and the pieces are so fantastic, so phenomenal that they know what they're going to produce, and they will help them to produce that. And what happens is that the only thing that is for sale in Burning Man is coffee and ice. Those are the two things humanity needs, apparently. And then all you do for that week, that there are 40,000 people in the desert at that one moment who are living there together, eating the best food, having the most extraordinary experiences, is just to be. It is to be your truest self, whatever that means. And if it means drugs, great. And if it means something else, great. But I saw a gentleman walking towards me in a Giorgio suit, tailored suit that was, it was stunningly beautiful and then I watched him walk past me, and he had nothing on in the back. And I was like, he got me thinking, is this a message about the duality of life? I can't stop thinking. And that was just one experience. Imagine having something like that happen 12 times a day for 7 days in a row. It is stunning. And then after Burning Man is over, and you have all these people that have had this, they've had this culture in space, and they have been close and distant at the same time. And everything is shared. It's a gift economy. Literally a gift economy is what they call it. And so nothing's for sale. When you do something, this person's over here, you happen to have a station that you brought from home, and it's got a 5-gallon bucket with fresh water, and you're there just washing people's hair. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to gift people. I want to wash their hair for them in the desert.
So again, the only things for sale at Burning Man are ice and coffee.
Correct.
So food, everything is, all the rest of it's shared?
That you bring your own, yeah. And you can share it if you want to, or you don't share it if you don't want to. I was eating gourmet pizza, and when I arrived, I had traveled and I was sweaty and everything. I was just like, I was wishing for a shower. And here comes this guy in a Mad Max car. And on the front of his car was a giant, 4-foot circular dish that was extended in front of the car with a barrel elevated above it. So you could see the calves and the feet and everything of the person in there. And then there was a shower that could be turned on the person who was standing in the barrel. And I said, may I? And he says, absolutely. And I was looking, is there something I can just give him or share to show my appreciation? And I had a bottle of tequila and I gave it to him. And he says, all right. And so he's driving me around and I'm showering in the front of his vehicle. And as I'm looking at people who are waving at me, and I'm just like, whoa, this is amazing.
I was about to say too, I would think that was art in and of itself as somebody who doesn't like to be dirty. I would have been like, a shower, yay, manna from heaven to be clean again. But now I'm thinking, I think I'd rather be dirty than driven around with people watching me shower.
It's not for everyone, I imagine.
Maybe not.
That was just one thing. And for a week, this is going on every day. And then suddenly it's over. The biggest town, the biggest city in Nevada for 1 week suddenly disperses and goes to all points of the world. And people miss that. They miss it so much that they have what they call decompression parties in Los Angeles or San Francisco on the beach or wherever. And it's very Burning Man-esque. People just come, they share, they don't share, but they get along, and there's so much harmony. So much harmony. And then that disappears. And maybe it happens again, maybe it doesn't, and then it goes back to Burning Man again. We do something similar in Gateway where we have decompression parties of our own, but we call them dirt times. And the kids lead the skills, the games, and things that they do at camp. And they get to share it this time with their parents and their friends and the people who come to these dirt times that happen once a month. And what does it cost? It doesn't cost anything. I mean, we take donations, but for the most part, it's an opportunity for the kids to get together and do camp again, because we have so many young people who are jonesing for camp, that are jonesing for that atmosphere of non-judgment.
So you just created a judgment-free zone for the youth to build community on their own, and then just stand back and let them do that? Is that kind of what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, and it's not that I'm saying you must not judge. That doesn't work. But you kind of set the example, and you ask, can you agree to this? Can you agree with that having a non-judgmental, emotionally and physically safe place to be is what we all want to achieve? And for the summer camps, the kids as young as 9 years old have to make that choice at their interview, and everyone is interviewed. They're told, this is how camp goes. This is how it works. This is what to expect. You have a choice. You always have a choice. And you need to make a choice about going to camp or not going to camp without the influence of your parents, your siblings, or your friends. I know you're 9 years old, but that's the way we do it. And so within 24 hours, give me a call if you want to go to camp or if you don't want to go to camp. And I've had situations where a child would call me and say, I don't think I'm ready for this. When they, at the interview, they had said, oh, yeah, I'd love to do this. This is great. That's great. Their parents are there and their parents are like, yes, that's my boy. And they really didn't want to go.
So you essentially took the principles that we learned in kindergarten and then unlearned of love and acceptance, not tolerance, but genuine love and acceptance of another human being, and just ran with it.
I thought choice was really important. Having a choice, because I didn't realize. It's not that I didn't have a choice when I was a kid. I just didn't realize that I had a choice. And now, even when I go into the schools and I do disc golf clinics, when I'm talking to the classroom saying, hey guys, me and all these instructors are here. We want to share one of the most passionate, fun things you can ever do with a piece of plastic with you, but only if you want to. And you have to understand that you guys have a choice. You may not realize it, but you even have a choice to go to school or not. You can make life so hellacious for your parents that they won't want to take you to school. But you know why you go to school? Because you want to make them happy.
I mean, Sam, I'm going to ask you, when you hear him say that now, when you were a kid, did you feel empowered by that?
I did. I remember going in for the first interview, and my mom has always been very close to me. She's a very accepting and wonderful person. But you do feel a sort of pressure from your parents to do the right thing, and what they want you to do. So going in, I was like, I have to do this. Like, this is partially what my mom wants for me and also what I want for me, because my sister had told me a lot about it. And so I entered, and Ron directed all the questions at me. It was about me in the interview and not my mom like I expected it to be. He wanted me to answer the questions authentically as myself and not like focus on what my mom wanted or anything like that. And that actually inspired me to want to go to camp more. I was given the choice. My mom wasn't the one who was making sure that I went to camp and like directing that. I was the one who was deciding to go.
So you have a sibling that's involved with
Yes.
this as well? Okay. Is that an older sibling?
Yeah. She went the year before I went. And she was also involved with it for a while. And she came back and she was like, that was awesome. Like, that was so cool. She learned how to make a shelter, how to build a fire, how to boil water and purify it, like all sorts of cool stuff. And I was like, wow, that sounds really cool. But most of all, what she talked about was the friends that she made at camp. And that was what really stuck out to me, was the community.
Okay. So I have two questions for you, Sam.
Mhm.
One, because you went the following year, in that year's time between your older sibling going to camp and then you're going to camp, did it change your relationship? Was with what your older sister learned at camp about the not judging, about the acceptance, right? Because that's what love is. If you think about it, right? We all learned that if you went to church, or in kindergarten, you learned that love is unconditional acceptance of another soul. So did that carry over into your relationship for that year?
It's actually carried on into our relationship, I think, throughout our lives, because Gateway came into our lives at a time that we really needed it. Our parents had gotten divorced, and we didn't have a strong male role model in our lives. It was kind of a hard time, especially for her. But after she found like an outlet and a place of love and acceptance through Gateway, she sort of blossomed as a person as well. And it allowed us to have a very close relationship. She is my best friend. Like, she means more to me than pretty much anybody else in my life.
Yeah, I know your sister. She's amazing.
Yeah,
Really
she
good.
is.
I just, like, it boggles my mind, honestly, to think about, like, we have these programs. You have learned the emotional regulation and the self-love and the self-acceptance and turn that into authenticity. And then you get to support other people. Well, they get to learn the self-love and the self-acceptance and turn that into authenticity. And then, right, extend that to other people to learn to do that for other people. What do you say is more useful, right? Because you talked about you learned these skills and those skills, and your sister came back and was excited about those things. What is more useful to you going into adulthood? The camp survival skills that you learned, or the intellectual, emotional, spiritual? I don't know what else to call it, because
Yeah. I think they sort of tie into each other a lot, because by teaching everyone the skills, they learn to be confident in themselves. Like, I can do this. I can do whatever I set my mind out to. I'm smart. I have intelligence. And that, like, helps a lot. It connects you to nature, what we do, the building the shelter and making the fire from wood, and like learning plant identification. It connects you to nature and like brings you an awareness, allows you to see the beauty in the world and really truly feel confident in yourself. So it's kind of like, for me, you can't have one without the other. Like, you need both of these things. You need to learn the skills so you can connect deeper within yourself, feel the confidence and the intelligence. And you also need the community and the social aspect of it where everyone's accepting and everyone has a choice. But really, the thing that impacted me the most was the social aspect, because I was somewhat bullied when I was younger. It was a situation where I didn't realize that I was being bullied, but I felt that I was being bullied, because everyone was outwardly nice to me, but they didn't include me in things. Or they would say things about me that I thought were friendly, but they weren't. And so I felt like this sense of being an outcast without understanding why I felt like that. And going to Gateway, everyone wanted me to be there. Everything that happened at Gateway, it was like, hey, why don't you get involved with this? Or, hey, do you want to lead this game? Like, whatever was going on, I always felt incredibly included, and that inspired me to want to include others as well. It's really beautiful to see when acceptance happens, just how much people blossom and become like the most beautiful version of themselves.
It is an amazing thing to see. Was this, again, when you set out to do this all those years ago, was this the end result you were looking for? Or is this just the byproduct of saying we need to have genuine acceptance and to do these things where there needs to be a pathway for this?
No. I was looking for something for myself, for my own soul. I don't follow the measured tread very well. I'm, when I went to Humboldt State, they couldn't figure out what to do. I had a very wise advisor who said, well, so you want to have fun, but what is fun for you? And I was like, I never thought about that before. Well, how about when you were a little kid? I loved making piñatas. And because I made piñatas, everybody invited me to birthday parties. Well, what about high school? I liked putting on parties at the beach. That was great. Oh, so you got sold cups of beer and stuff like that? Or no. I would ask my friend John if he would set up made sure everybody had tents and sleeping bags and stuff. And my friend Sherry would make sure that there was enough food. And I would make sure that there was some sort of entertainment. It ended up being these big beach parties that we would all caravan to, and then in college it was ski parties, snow parties, and I would make giant trays of lasagna with meat or without meat, and just explore social dynamics. It's like, okay, what happens when we have 30 people? What happens when we have 10 people? How much can people afford? Well, is there enough money to cover in case somebody's car breaks down? We're traveling all this way. Somebody's got to have skills if there's 30 people. So let's make sure there's a lot of people who can fix that car. Oh, there's money left over. Let's have an experience of going to having some type of food that we've never had before. Mongolian barbecue. Yeah, let's try that. So I would take everybody to Mongolian barbecue. I kept creating these experiences for people that would call me years later and say, "Hey, are you still doing the road trips and the ski parties or the beach party?" And I was like, I moved on to summer camps now, guys. You gotta drop your age or lie or something. And so I haven't changed what I do, what I love doing. Fun for me is creating an environment, creating a space where I can take someone out of their rut, out of their normal life, put them in this other new space where they get exposed to all these things. And my dissertation on fun was, if you provide someone with all the things that they need, whether it's food, shelter, some sort of healthcare, transportation, then all that's left for that individual, that spirit, that soul to learn is about themselves. They're having fun, and they're usually doing something that feeds their soul. And then I'll take them, transplant them back into their own environment, home or whatever, and they remember the things that they experienced, and they will start to include that in their life now. Just like I did when I went to Spain. It's like, oh my gosh, is this what a cortado is like? I must continue to have a cortado and a siesta. And it lasted for a few years. But I think down deep, a lot of that stuff stuck from Europe. The way their appreciation for life as opposed to money as much. Yeah. So that I basically was following my own, what moved my soul and my own interests. I was being selfish and taking everybody with me.
Yeah, so selfish to bring an amazing experience to the community, Ron.
I read somewhere that if we all selfishly loved ourselves and did the things that we wanted to, we could change the world. And so you selfishly loved yourself and did what you wanted to, and you've built this amazing community. You, Sam, said that you're sticking with your art. You know that you will get there, and you've learned through these programs to have the perseverance to do those things. It'll be amazing to see the art that you create, the things that you do. I really genuinely wonder if we all selfishly loved ourselves, but there's no profit in that. Corporations aren't posting record profits year after year after year. And you talked a little bit about the Europe thing. I really genuinely wonder if our media had kind of programmed our brains into that we are defined by our jobs. We're defined by what we can produce, and our value is in what we can give other people to profit from what it would look like, what we would look like.
And for them, a month off is not unusual. 2 months off, even 3 months off. In that time, you can learn a language. You develop an appreciation by living in another country for a month or two. Suddenly your scope is much, much broader. Your worldview is much more worldly.
Yeah, they've been given a lot of resources that allow them to just go out and do what they want to do when they feel like it. At least sometimes. And from what I've heard, like having proper health care and proper sick leave and all of that sort of stuff allows them to go and have vacations and enjoy themselves and not worry so much about money.
You mentioned something earlier, and I understand that we're probably about to max out here, but you had mentioned about bullying, and I was bullied as a kid too, just kind of viciously, not not under the table, not subtly. It was overtly, and I think that may have inspired some of how do we create a safe environment where people can have an experience, because you can't have a quality life experience if you're concerned about getting hit or being called names or judged. Yeah. So just wanted to answer your question more fully about that.
Sam, I definitely want to have you back on to talk about art and what that looks like with AI and all of those other things. And for youth who want to go into the field of doing designing and those types of things, and what that impact will have on your hopes, your dreams, and your future.
Ask her about directing. She is a very good director, a budding director. I would really look for her future theatrical performances or shows. She's quite gifted.
All right, Sam. We're gonna end this episode of KFUG's Community Square here. Again, if you would like to participate in Gateway's Education Survival Day camps, the camp dates are June 22nd through 26th, ages 9 through 12, July 6th through 10th, ages 13 to 18, and advanced camps dates are July 27th through 31st. And as it gets closer to these things, Ron, if you want to come back with Sam, because she's amazing, and then talk about what the difference is between the survival camps and then the advanced camps, we can absolutely do that. If you would like to participate, you can call Ron at 707-954-7666. Again, that's 707-954-7666. And what is the website you were saying they can look at?
Gateway to the Wild Rivers Coast, gateway to the WRC.com.
Yeah, that was probably a bad pick on that one. You can't even remember it yourself. Thank you both for being here. And Sam, seriously, we need to set up a new time to talk.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, thank you.